like, and they both went over 100 yards in games, so I mean the potential's there, but I don't know, I'm not looking for some, one of those guys to like go absolutely nuts, obviously.
Right.
I don't know. That's all I have to say about them. I mean, Eric Wilkes is he's, like you said, he's a junior, and Trayshawn Garrett, he's a sophomore this year. So actually, Eric Wilkes is a senior. I'm sorry.
He's a junior,
But yeah,
I think.
so I don't know. Is he a junior?
Yeah, he's a junior. So, so just to give you, obviously our listeners an idea, last year Utah State obviously had a tough game against Southern Utah. Well, what happened to SUU when they played Weber State? They won 44-0. So Southern Utah shut out Weber State and scored 44. So I mean, that's kind of the difference. I don't know how much this Weber State's going to improve from last year to this year. Obviously, it's possible. Maybe Jadrian Clark is a better quarterback. Maybe their defense is a little bit better, but at the same time, they lost a couple really good linebackers. From last year, one guy is gonna. What is that guy's name? Now that I'm not looking at it, I can't remember that dude's name. But anyway, so they're gonna be losing some, a couple key positions. They've got quite a bit coming back, but I mean they're not. Oh, Lillenquist.
And their defense, I mean, they led their Big Sky Conference last year in total team defense. They gave up an average of 346 yards, almost 47 yards, 347 yards a game. So I mean, they play good defense, good sound defense, and they're returning 8 starters. So, like you said, a lot of those, a couple of those guys were big key players, and we'll see how FCS team can reload or fill those voids. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a lot harder for a smaller college or whatnot to fill those holes right away. And likewise, we'll see what Utah State comes out with, with their linebackers or whatnot. But they got guys coming back, and I think obviously they're going to try to stop the run, and we're going to try to stop the run. And
right.
I like chances. I mean, I don't know with what we got going on offense and the guys we got returning, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're not going to be, especially their defenses. They're not going to be pushovers. I don't think the Aggies are going to be able to just run over them. Every time. It's not going to be a complete blowout as far as completely overmatched. I think. I think they have some. I think they have some holes, though. I think the Aggies can take advantage of that, and I think, at least I strongly believe that if the Aggies stop the run, and Weber State's in 3rd and long, Jadrian Clark is not going to be able to complete a lot of passes. 3rd and 10 passes, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7 passes for first downs. It's just not going to happen. So. That's just my evaluation of Clark. We'll see.
I agree with that. I mean, they got Livingston's their go-to receiver, and I mean he played North Dakota State. That's the only game I could really find to watch.
Yeah,
it was early in the season, so really, I mean, I know Weber was playing a lot better towards the end, but it didn't really give me any, I don't think, insight of who they kind of are, since it was their second game of the year last year.
Yeah.
And the outcome was in their favor. But, I mean, the kid, he's like 15th overall in school history with receiving yards. I mean, and he's a big kid. He's 6'2", almost 200 pounds, he's a big target. But just hearing out in the community, because I live in Syracuse, so I'm pretty close to Weber State, and just hearing in the community and just right online, their fans really aren't too impressed with their quarterback, and they're kind of down on their receivers as well, even with having Cameron Livingston. And I don't know, he looked like a pretty solid specimen to me. I mean, he's, but I again, it goes back to our corners. Obviously I like our corners and our safeties, and I just think that the matchup there, we win that matchup, you know. But going back to what you kind of said against, you know, Southern Utah last year, you know, during that game, I was never really nervous until like the fourth quarter, because I just figured, oh, it's an FCS school, we'll just wear them down because they don't have the depth. You know, they'll just get tired and wear it down. And that's the key, I think. They cannot let these guys hang around. Don't let Weber hang around. You know, they got to come out right out of the get-go and just get after it, you know. And then I think, obviously, then I'm not worried that Utah State will take the loss, but, I mean, over the last 26 games, I saw somebody tweeted out, what was it, 26 games, or 23-3 in the last 26 home games. So,
yeah.
And that has a lot to do with, you know, home field advantage and the people getting out to the game and getting loud and, you know.
Well, my other key, and I almost, I don't know if I'll be able to get myself out of the press box or not, but I'm hoping to see firsthand the difference in the team, just the morale, the leadership, the fire, because it felt like last year. I mean, I was walking along that sideline just looking at the guys, and they were calm, they were relaxed, you know, they were confident. But that's only good, you know, for so long. You can only do so much with that. I mean, sometimes you gotta just have that killer instinct, and you know, you gotta have you know, some fire and get fired up, and I don't know. It was just you know, I didn't like the presence of the team, just kind of going through the motions and staying so calm and relaxed. Football's not a relaxed game.
No, and they just seemed flat. They did.
Yeah.
They just seemed, they're just kind of flat. They didn't play with an edge. They didn't play with a chip on their shoulder. I mean, I don't know if everybody heard it that's listening, but, I mean, the presser that was earlier this week, he was on yesterday, and Travis Seafeld said it himself. They didn't have that culture that, you know, they wanted to get back to what's made Utah State really good, you know, over the last 3 years.
Right.
Is playing with a chip on their shoulder and, you know, being that way. And and he said they weren't that way last year. So obviously there was just some, whatever it was, you know, but every year, you know, I'm not saying every year, but there'll be years that happens, you know, whether it's, and I just don't think there was a lot of good leadership, I think, on the team, but Kyler Fackrell's kind of a quiet guy. Nick Vigil's kind of a quiet guy. You know, there's not a lot of fiery guys. I mean, Zach Vigil was very fiery. I mean, he'd get after it, you know, and you could see it on the sidelines and stuff like that. But the only guy that I can really think of last year was David Moala. You know, he was the only one that really ever showed, like, some excitement, you know, and energy. There's a few guys on the defensive end, especially in the back, and I think you know who I'm talking about, gets a little juiced. So
this year,
I'm excited. I'm pumped. But, you know, and it all goes down to, we can just keep breaking down Weber, and I don't know how excited everybody is to, like, listen to, you know, that, but it all comes down to us, you know, what Utah State does.
Right.
I mean, if they take care of us, then it doesn't, you know, it shouldn't be a problem, you know what I mean? And people are like, somebody from Logan, one of the papers or radio station, tweeted out, you know, what are you going to be comfortable with? What size victory margin are you going to be comfortable with going into the year?
Right.
You know, and I'm just win. You know, just freaking win. You know, I don't really care.
Hopefully they answer some of these questions, but they can only answer so many questions. They can't answer all of them, because the next week they're going up against USC. You know, going to LA and playing USC is going to answer a lot more questions than Weber State. But they can answer some of the questions as far as, is this team different than last year? They can answer, is this team going to be you know, better against the run? Because I think it was just at times that, last year the Utah State defense did not look good against the run. So that's just not good enough. You can't be inconsistent, taking care of the run. One of the other things that I wanted to mention is Leki Wasike looks like he's going to be the starter, and I almost want to say he might be the starter, but as of right now, he's going to be the starter over Anthony Williams. And Anthony Williams, I feel like he's like that catfish, that online chick that's just that looks good and everything. He looks great. He's been leading me along, and I haven't wanted to give it up. By the way, there was I like the show Catfish, right, Seth?
Yeah.
So there's this guy that he was 1,000% convinced. He kept saying that too. They're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that you're really talking to this girl? And it was Katy Perry. He said, I am talking to Katy Perry. I am 1,000% convinced it is Katy Perry, the singer. And this went on for like 6 years, that this girl was leading him along and telling him that she was Katy Perry. For 6 years.
Oh my gosh.
So luckily, my point of that is, luckily we're not being led on for 6 years, but it's been a couple years that I've been excited about Anthony Williams. It's been a couple years that I've been saying, oh man, Anthony Williams is going to be a stud. He's going to be a really good linebacker. He can step in, and play inside or outside. But I just don't know. It worries me that he could be one of those guys that, he could get suspended, he could get benched, he could make stupid plays. I just don't know where his head's at. I don't know if he can bring that consistency. That's the thing.
He's got the physical tools. I mean, he's got it physically. I just think there's something going on that I just think I don't know what it is, but
I'm going through the stages of denial and grief and whatever, all the different steps, because I was in complete denial. I was like, no, there's no way. Anthony Williams is definitely going to be he's definitely going to be the starter. He's the best linebacker the Aggies have, and I was completely in denial. So,
he'll play though.
He'll still play. I think he'll still be important. Hopefully he figures it out. Hopefully he can, get his head on, get his head straight. Because the Aggies are going to need him. I mean, I think when I heard that news, when somebody told me that, I just started getting sick and worried about the season, because if the linebackers are too slow, too small, too whatever, not able to clean up those tackles, that's one thing that Nick Vigil did an awesome job of. He was always there. He was always in the right spot. Zach Vigil, obviously, even more so. He was always in the right spot. So hopefully Leki Wasike is that guy that, like Zach Vigil, that maybe he doesn't run a 4.3, but if he's in the right spot and he's tough and a leader and he's dependable and does the right thing every play, then he's going to step in and do a good job. So I'm coming around. I'm almost 100% on board to see number 57 run out in the field and play inside linebacker with Huerta, number 12. So I don't know. Thursday.
I'm good with. I just want to get this thing going. I'm good with it.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, most people listening and especially us, we're just like, I don't even care. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want it to be here. I just want it to happen. I just want it to be a real game with real football in the new stadium.
We talked about Weber State's defense and their offense a little bit, what they got. We didn't talk about their special teams, so I'd like to mention this.
Yes.
They are not returning anybody on special teams.